Hey, welcome to another edition of the podcast.
A special edition. Welcome to the Banger in the Hangar container interviews. We are here at the Banger in the Hangar. This is, of course, the Won't Shut Up and Skate podcast. And Carjack and I, who just arrived in Houston for the Banger in the Hangar 2023.
Did you say a rove?
No. A rove? Did I? I don't know. Anyway, we are here with David Donalson. What's up, David? How you doing?
Hey, Chip.
Yeah, put your
What's
face
up, man?
closer to the.
How are you doing?
Put your
Good to
face
see
closer
you.
to the mic, there, buddy.
Okay.
So, Dave is our first interview. This is a new little format for us. We are at the Banger in the Hangar 2023. This is the fourth year of vert skating in Houston.
Cool.
In November.
So cool.
And it's super rad. It's a 60-foot wide ramp.
It's the fourth year of this event.
That's true.
No
It's
pun
like-
intended. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, really cool.
It's very cool. But we are doing some short interviews, and we've got some special questions and some things we're going to do. But we're going to start it off with Mr. David Donalson. We've known you for I don't know how many years, going way back to our previous episodes. Carrie and I were talking about that contest in San Antonio at, I think it was US Surf. No, it was Solid Surf.
No. That was down. That was in Houston. That was North Side Houston with Solid Surf.
Correct. It was
I don't remember the name of the park.
I don't have my notes with me, but anyway, so it was the Texas Championships. We talked an episode about it, and we referred to that 200 and so skaters. It was called the Texas Championships, and this was the contest where a bunch of pros were flown in from California, and some of them fucked some shit up.
Yes. Skate park in San Antonio. Crazy ass half pipe.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of
Right.
Okay, this was not any flat bottom.
Right.
Okay,
Right, now let's-
you rolled in, you turned left, straight into half pipe, downhill, and it went down, I don't know, maybe 100, 200 feet.
Yeah, it was long.
And then it went to this extension that was 5 feet, 4 or 5 feet of vert.
Yep.
And
Now,
for like 50 feet, and then came out with like maybe 20 feet at the end after that. So the thing was like 8 foot 20 to vert, and then like 4 to 5 feet of vert. Okay, and I'm 9 years old.
That's what we saw. Was your name was in the 6 to 9 category.
Right.
So you
which was
got
awesome.
you got first place in that contest, which again was considered the Texas Championships, with all these skaters from all over the place.
Right.
And
Salva,
you were Salva and all those guys.
Right.
And they Hackett and all those guys threw a chair out of a window and got in trouble.
But then Stacy and Ray Bones and the good guys were there, giving pointers and encouragement to the young kids.
So a little backstory on it, right? That was my first time flying by myself. My parents took me to the airport.
You flew to San Antonio?
I flew to San Antonio by myself.
At age 9.
At age 9. Did the stewardess have to hold your hand to get you to the seat?
Right.
Was it that thing?
Yeah,
and
that was
smoking was still happening
Oh,
on the plane.
hell yeah.
Right. So they throw me on a plane.
Yeah.
And I get there, and supposedly Skateboard City is my team.
Right.
They were supposed to take care of me, right? So I get there, I'm fucking 9. I get off the plane, I'm like,
there's nobody there.
Somebody's got to show up, right?
There's no sign that says Baby Donalson. Come to the limo.
So the Skateboard City teams, Marty Cruz, Mike Boyd, Jimmy Arriaga, some of these other guys, don't get me. If I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. Greg Baird, all those guys, right? So finally, somebody shows up, gets me at the airport, and okay, so we go back to the hotel room, right? I'm not. These guys are fucking doing blow, doing fucking everything in the world. There's girls in the room, and I go to the skate park. I'm like, I just want to skate. That's what skate.
And these were the California pros that you're talking about.
No, these are just Skateboard City pros.
The Skateboard City pros.
Yeah, well, they were pros. They're riders, right? So I go back to the hotel room, right? And it's a total chaos. I mean, it's like the 1980s when we just messed up hotels. I mean, blew them apart.
Right.
But this is, 70s. right? And I'm
78, I think it was 78.
Yeah, and I'm 9, whatever, and I'm like, okay, so what do I do, right? So I go to skate park, I skate, and then I go back to the room, and it's just a shit show of party. I mean, it is crazy in my room, right, where I'm supposed to sleep, right? I mean, there's adult women running around with boobs hanging out. There's guys just,
everything.
Man,
gotcha.
Everything. It's full blown party, hotel. TVs are being broken. Shit's thrown around. The whole room's
So you're
destroyed.
saying,
and I'm 9. I'm just sitting in the corner going.
So, Dave, you're saying that it wasn't just the California people that were screwing shit up. There was other skaters that were ripping things up and at the party and all that. Now, that's crazy.
What I'm hearing from all this is that maybe in retrospect, Todd and Johnny and Craig
but they were
absolute angels by comparison.
Well, they were only like 14,
I'm
13,
talking
14,
about
15.
in the mid-'80s when they were the kings of Orange Grove. And we thought, like, those guys are crazy partiers. Like, no, they'd already seen it all before. They were just medium.
So, Dave,
they were keeping it on an even keel.
I know it's been a long time since that contest, but take me through what you got first place in that contest. Do you remember
was that your
what
first time there?
Your maneuvers were?
I never skated there.
So you just had to figure it out.
I just got on a plane and went there, and I skated Friday, right? And I'm like, okay, I got a little warm up in. I'm like, this place is crazy compared to what I'm skating, and so I went back to the room Friday night. All hell broke loose, and I just curled up against the wall, literally, and fell asleep there. And sitting up straight, right? I was like, I can't trust anything going, And I'm like, okay, right. So I get up the next morning, I go down there, I start skating. They're like, well, you're like 6 months, or it was like a month or 2 from being 10. You can skate the next up. And I'm like, against Johnny and all these other guys. I'm like, no, I'm still 9, And so I literally, it was so much vert, and I was so small, I would just call butt down that half pipe and go floating up all that vert, and then tap my tail 3 wheels out, and then float all the way back down. I never touched that vert when I went out.
Yeah, it was all.
It was just weightless.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, top, boom.
So,
that's awesome.
Float all the way back down. I'm like, boom, top, boom. Okay, all the way back down. Boom, boom. Again, I'm like, okay, we're good. Once we get out of the place,
Nice.
we're still standing.
So 6 to 9 years old, you were the only kid doing something on that vert. Am I right?
Yeah,
Easily.
Nobody was coming close. I mean, the next guy down, I forget his name. I'm sorry, but we competed against a lot when we were kids, but he was going like a foot up it, and that was it.
Right. Second, third place may have been kids that just made runs.
Right. Yeah.
Something like that. So, man, that's some fun stuff. So let me ask you this question. So at that event, when we read the article about that event, the pros were giving tutorials and assistance in between to make skaters better. But I think that I have an argument that I think that the skaters looked at how good the Texas skaters were and were like, oh shit, Texas has it going on. Do you have any memory of that stuff?
Well, okay.
I know you were 9.
No, well, okay. The big game changer there was Bobby Valdez and doing an invert.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was like nobody did an invert.
And this was on a non-coping wall of some sort, a rounded lip kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't round, it squared up, but it was straight up vert. And nobody did an invert at that time. It was like, what? You go upside down and put your hand down?
So you're like, we got to learn this.
And so, I mean, literally for like a year after that, I skated with my best friend, Brad Counts, and we'd go skate solid surf, we brought up earlier, but we'd skate that pool, and he learned inverts. And all the old school guys are like, what? you go upside down and put your hand on the wall. You know, it's like that's next level.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nobody does that, you know. So that's kind of just cemented the Californians when they came here that there was a whole new level, and that one guy was doing that, you know, but everybody else was shocked at how well the Texans were skating.
Sure.
Other than that one trick that he had brought into the game, you know,
and from towns they never heard of. I heard there was several cities, Midland and places like that the Californians had never heard of. So to move a little bit forward, and you mentioned the Skateboard City team. So one of the theories that I've been putting out in this is that after that event, when Stuart Singer and Donnell Distribution got I don't know, 6th place, GNS got 1st place, whatever. When they were doing team points award and you were with the Skateboard City team, etc., I have a theory that contest started the downfall of skateboard teams in Texas. The whole skate teams matching uniforms and all that.
Yeah. You know what was really funny is that I now have my Skateboard City uniform again, my shirt.
Okay.
Dave Rule had it in his closet for 30 years, 40 years.
And you got it back.
And about 10 years ago, I was out visiting him. He's like, dude, I got something for you. And he walks out with my perfect Skateboard City uniform.
That's awesome.
We're going to need a picture of that. Yeah, we're going to need
what the hell? And I'm like, I was blown away. I totally forgot about all that team stuff. I mean, that was so crazy. Do you think
do you remember at that time after when you get 10, 11, 12, do you remember the skateboard team thing fading?
Fading. It was already on the downcline, I would say, because it just, you know, it was that, how do I put this politely? It was not cool.
We're not here to be polite. We're here to tell the fucking truth.
Right. Okay. It was not polite. All right. I mean, it was starting to be looked down because skateboarding was individual.
Right.
And, you know, people wanted to be individual, not part of another high school football team.
Kerry talked about that.
The whole idea was if you were into the team thing, just go play football.
Right.
You're into skateboarding because you're not into that.
Right. Yeah. You can't skate to carry the team.
Right.
You know, that's not how the sport is worked and involved, you know, and so yeah, I mean that was I don't really know that was a pivot point of what killed team skateboarding, but I think that was kind of the precipice of that we're done with it.
We can't find any more examples, and I don't recall any examples after that of it being a thing. Obviously, Stuart Singer was killing it at that time in those teams, but it doesn't seem like, I don't know, my philosophy as Texas is kind of like what you said. We're going to do it our way. We don't need this whole team thing, and it just kind of faded maybe. I don't know. Maybe it faded with the skate parks went away, but you never had that happen. The backyard series, there ain't no fucking Skateboard City team coming into a backyard ramp content. Backyard ramp.
Right.
Backyard.
So in those days, you already knew Johnny and those guys. You hadn't met the Dallas guys yet, right?
No,
that early?
I knew Stuart Singer and all that. No, at that time I did not.
Jeff and Craig wasn't around quite yet, and that sort of thing.
No, none of that.
When did you start getting sponsored? Who was that? Who was your first sponsor, or early sponsors other than the Skateboard City team?
Donnell Distribution.
Okay, so you skated for Donnell too, out of Dallas, but you were from Houston,
right?
Or Pasadena, Houston.
No, Houston.
Houston. Okay,
and they supplied me with a lot of early stuff. They gave me the quote unquote third 10-inch wide alva board.
Okay. When you say the third quote unquote,
as it was told to me that Tony Alva got one, Donnell Distribution got two because they sold so much back in the day, and they kept one and they sent me the third one.
So pig boards.
Yeah.
Is
And-
this pre Johnny's Caster time frame and
Yes.
all that? Okay.
Yeah.
Which was Enigwe. I just can't say his name
I
right.
really
Enu-
can't.
Tom,
Tom Inouye.
Inouye,
Yeah.
excuse me. We're going to dig back into this so everybody knows these interviews here, the Banger and the Hangar Container interviews, are a little more short snippets. We are going to definitely have you in for a much longer, but we wanted to cover some stuff. So, move in. Who was your first big sponsor? Like board and all this stuff. When we're talking getting into Spring Series Skate Park in Houston.
Pal sponsored me actually as a young kid.
Okay.
Nice.
And team.
And Ray Bones Rodriguez came to Houston and saw me skate. And me and Gibson went at it for the Pepsi contest. And I made a terrible decision in the final round. Well, whatever. And he won.
Okay.
And he went off to California. I didn't. Ray Bones came into town and liked my skating and sponsored me for PAL.
You're one of the originators of the I barely tightened my truck's nut on the wobbliest, loosest. You and Reed Moffitt were the early days. You were back way early that I remember just having amazingly, floppy trucks. But it allowed you this tricks and this kind of style.
Yeah, I mean, I bothered Reed for as much as I could. I mean, he's a really good buddy. Don't get me. I don't want to sound that way or whatever. But I whatever I could do for Reed, whatever do for a lot of those guys. Frank Gardner.
Right.
Reed.
I had breakfast with Frank this morning, so
cool.
That's a cool thing. So since we're on a short time frame, and we definitely have a lot to talk to you about, and we want to get into your pro career and all those things and what you're doing now. But because we don't have a lot of time, and because I'm also announcing the event that you may or may not hear in the background, I got to get back in it. But here's the thing. I want to talk to you about a couple things, and I want a couple of minutes of your opinion. Wild Bill.
Love the guy. I worked with him for many, many years trying to better the pads. He got a little hard-headed as he got older. I came up with a really good pad that I still have one set of that I ride today. He would not put it out. It was too much money, he said.
Sure. But generally speaking, what he did for Texas and what he did for
so much. I love the guy. I put up with him on the platform, talking my ear out for 20 years on the Kahuna, on the Hurricane. The guy would just start talking, and it was like, hey, we had a great conversation. It wasn't just something bad.
Right.
It was involving. So I, would sit there and talk with the guy. But it's like, dude, I want to skate.
Yeah. Have you met my co-host Kerry Jackson? All right. So the next one, and you can spend, because the last one's going to be a little longer, but spend a couple of minutes. John Comer.
I love the guy. I love skating with him. I was so impressed. I remember the first time skating Dallas, Jeff Phillips Park with him, and his leg came off and went backwards, and I
shit a brick. That happened at the skate park of Houston. That was one of my favorite memories because he slid out of in the AMs and it fell off, and he got up and people were like, and he fell off and raised it above his head, and then everybody went, fuck, yeah, because they didn't know.
Right.
So
yeah, that was before that. I mean, that big contest that Jeff had, where everyone came and we were shooting around the little bowl there, and then flying out over
into the spine ramp, the mini ramp,
right over the railing. The railing was up, and flying over and then landing on the railing, the spine, and going into that ramp, and there was only a few of us doing it. Chris Miller, me, Jeff, Ben Shorter went up and did it and split the bars with his legs.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I mean, literally, Ben's a great friend of mine, but oh my God, I felt the pain when he landed. I mean, you could not hit it more square.
right onto the
Yes, you
spine.
could not hit it more square.
Ben Schroeder.
And I'm like, you're never having kids.
So it's like sacking on a handrail, but on the spine.
Yeah, from a 10-foot jump, and then landing on the handrail. Great
And
split. I'm like,
Ben has a weird knack for having the gnarliest slams possible.
Yeah.
He's also a friend of the show, but John Comer was one of the kids that was doing it at that time. And that's great.
John wasn't doing it at that episode, but I mean, later come back and John's doing it. And it was. I mean, John, I love the guy, dude. I mean, he skated for Cockfight, which I skated for a while, you know. And I love I'm Cockfight family. I will always be Cockfight family.
Absolutely, one of our sponsors. Yeah.
I mean, you don't quit that team. You're just part of the family always. It's a mafia.
Yep.
So,
you know,
in my third, and maybe in your head quick, you can pick out a story because we could talk about this forever. But as a friend, Jeff Phillips and what he did for Texas.
Oh, dude,
talk about Jeff for a second. I know that's why we're doing this.
For me,
that's why we're talking about this.
So me and Jeff, we're really good friends, you know, and people don't really realize how much we talked and how much we got along. And so when our careers were starting to look like they're getting over.
Well, and at that time, Vert was fading and that whole street thing.
It really wasn't that. It's like, you know, both of us saw it's like, hey, we can't do this forever. Right. You know,
but you guys didn't know what's happening now, which is a lot of skaters. You didn't have any idea that was going to.
You know, but we were starting to think outside the box, and we were talking of other businesses. We talked oil change businesses. We talked garages. We talked a lot of different ventures to go into together, and you know, and his family really pushed him that he was a failure, even though he would make $100,000 a month.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and there was so much pressure on Jeff to be successful at a business.
Yeah, he was giving it all away by skating and doing drugs and whatever. But that's, you know.
I think I just will leave it at that, because that is a really hard one for me, because
understand.
Yeah, it was devastating for me.
Sure.
Because we
But on the positive, what did you love? Just what?
Dude,
why?
I loved, you know, one of the things I loved, you know, I'm like, hey, dude, I fucking had a good month. I pulled in $3,000 off of my fucking board sales. And he's like, damn it, I only made $10,000. It's like, fuck you, Jeff. Damn it. You know, and I'm like, and your parents think you're unsuccessful?
Right.
Fuck! Yeah, and I mean, that was in the 80s. Yep. I mean, Jesus. I mean,
yeah, that was stupid money back then.
Yeah. You know, and I'm like, wow, I made stupid money, and you just made me look like an idiot, you know, and your parents call you a failure. Oh, you know, I mean, I just want to slap him around sometimes, like, dude, you're so successful, you know, but he always had his parents living over him, and all of a sudden I loved her, you know, and I mean, the guy was just so talented, and he would always rib me, you know, because he's like, Dave, have fun at the contest, right? You know, just have fun. You know, remember when you used to win all the time. And I'm like, okay. So I started playing a punk rock song, and I'll be singing the punk rock song as I'm taking my run. He's like, Dave, concentrate. Like, what do you want me to do? Have fun or concentrate, you know?
That is fucking
it's a fine
perfect.
line you got to walk there.
That is perfect. That is perfect. Well, Dave, I think it's short. It's not near enough time, but we're going to cut it short because we got some things to do, but we wanted to sit down with you. Man, obviously we're going to get you in for a long interview, but this is the banger in the Hangar container. Let's end it on this. What has Texas skateboarding done for you?
Oh, just made my
I know,
life
that's
happy.
Carrie's laughing at me.
Okay,
how rad
that's
is-
a loaded ass question.
I know that's
That is a loaded ass question.
Okay, then I'll ask it this way. Texas deserves all the recognition that we don't get and more for how they changed the vert scene.
Why do we deserve anything?
That's good. He's questioning us. Because
No. We
Sure.
do what we do.
we did what we did.
do what we do for loving what we do.
Right.
Okay. Why does anybody have to give us any respect for doing what we love to do?
Okay.
Nobody.
I'll give you that.
We're just gonna have our fun. We've always been this way. We don't get the respect. I don't care.
We're going to do it our way and fuck everybody else. We're going to take care of ourselves.
I'm a dark horse, and I enjoyed my life of skateboarding,
All right.
and I still skateboard.
I love it. I love that answer. That's why we're asking the question. That's pretty rad.
That is a good one. I like
That is pretty good. Pretty good. I will say, though, of all of my Texas skater friends, I feel like you deserve more recognition. Now, you can say, fuck that shit because you skated what you want. But here's what I mean by the recognition.
I appreciate that.
You're
I
fucking
really do.
were rad, and you were instrumental in a lot of stuff at the scene and at the time and the skate park Houston. So what you embodied and what that time frame embodied is important to Texas history. Whether you call that respect or whether you whatever term you want to clarify that as, I believe that people need to know that. And I believe that that story's out there because you are important. But you know what? You are right. Fuck you, we're from Texas, and we're doing it for us, not for you.
Right.
And that's what counts. So I don't know what to say other than that. That's a good one.
Okay, this might be off topic or extending the interview unnecessarily, but the first time I remember actually meeting you, I think I had seen you skating at a contest on the Kahuna. First time I met you was at that skate park that was up in Spring on Kirkendall.
Oh,
what was that place called?
Oh, God.
I totally forget it.
My attorney's here. They grew up there. Oh, God. Sessions.
Okay, so that was the second like real skate park that I went to. I'd gone to Orange Grove, and then what that opened probably 87, 88, something like that.
Oh, just Texas Twister.
Yeah.
Was open as
Well, I'm just saying, but that was the second one I went to. Like, I wasn't around for the old days of Texas Twister, Skate City, or any of that stuff. I found out about the skate park of Houston because there was a story in the Chronicle, in the Houston Chronicle, about, there's a skateboard park up in North Houston with this giant metal ramp. And so I got my dad to take me there and saw what that was about. And then going to Shannon's surf shop at Willowbrook Mall, they had flyers for this brand new shop, this brand new park called Sessions up on Kirkendall and what, 249 or somewhere up there.
It was way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. But they had a vert ramp. They had like a 6-foot ramp and they had like a 4-foot ramp.
Yep.
And they said, hey, we've got a resident pro. We're like a resident pro, like, yeah, skate park at Houston. They've got all those pros that hang out there. We got our own pro. His name's Dave Donalson. And so we met you skating there, and you taught me how to you were doing backside nose grinds. And I was like, how do you do that? And you taught me how to carve up into them. And, you explained, basically doing a little backside nose wheelie on it. And you said it'll help if you loosen your trucks. But yeah, I learned those way back then at like age 16. And
so I was not a resident pro.
That's what they called you.
So I lived on the other side of the world from Sessions.
Right.
But I would go up there and do demos and tutorials or whatever with them.
Right on.
Because I love the small shop.
And that was a cool little setup they had going there.
It was plywood.
Yeah, it was just plywood with wood sealer on it.
When I skated, it didn't even have wood sealer on it. It was just, it was literally like a struggle to do an air.
It was slow compared to the metal ramps. Yeah. It was slow.
Slow compared to anything in the world.
And it was, I also noticed, because we went there, it probably only been open for a week when we got there, and it was great. And then the next time we came, like a month later, it was slower. And then the next time a month later, it was slower.
Yeah.
And they painted all the ramps with urethane, and now it was slow and sticky.
Slow and sticky. I'm going to end it on slow and sticky because I'm getting calls from Scott.
All right.
I got stuff to do.
Let's get back out there.
Let's get back to
it. Dave Donalson, thanks for joining us. Won't shut up and skate.
Thanks, Dave.
Podcast, the Banger in the Hangar container interviews. There'll be plenty of more. We'll get back at some more interviews, but thanks for stopping by. Sorry, we got to cut it short. We got lots of stuff.
Nope. I got to get back to a new beer.
We're going to go get a beer.
All right.
Cheers.
Sounds like
The future's up to you.